Hi, I am your host, Lyanette Talley, and you are listening to Virago 24/7. Virago is Latin for female warrior, and 24/7 is for all day, every day. Virago 24/7 is a weekly podcast that brings diverse women together to talk about life and our experiences in this world. We share our views on self-love, mental health, marriage, children, friendships, and really anything that needs to be talked about. Here, you will find everyday growth, everyday healing with everyday warriors. Just give me my space to move. 'Cause it's my thoughts, what I want, and I want what I want. Hey, my beautiful people. How's everyone doing? I'm not feeling too hot. I'm not feeling well. But I really wanted to record today. Last week I recorded with Shiny like the sun. She's been on the show multiple times. And we had a 2.5 hour conversation and we talked about everything. And that's what I was going to put out in the next coming weeks and cut them up in different segments. But Tuesday morning around 3:00 in the morning, I woke up. I've been sleeping on the couch because I don't want to get Philip sick, and I just feel more comfortable there. And I woke up, and just these thoughts started coming in. And I got up. Oh, I felt so weak. My body was so weak on Tuesday. And I got up, and I grabbed a notebook, got the first pen. That didn't work. Grabbed the second pen. That didn't work. I had to keep coming up from the couch, going to the office, grabbing another pen. Finally, the third pen worked, but man, it kept unclicking on me. So I was like, something doesn't want me to talk about this. So as you all know, I like to speak from the heart. I wrote some thoughts down just to give me a guide, some guidance, but I don't know what I'm going to say today. I have an inkling. We're just going to flow. I'll try not to cuss. If I do, I don't apologize for it. Whatever I say is what I say today. So there's a lot of things on my heart, and we're going to ride this roller coaster together today. So just be patient. But I had to get this off my chest. Shiny, I'll get our shows out in the coming weeks, but today I had to say this, and even that I don't feel well, it's not going away. I wanted to record yesterday. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I probably would have come out saying a lot of things in anger, and I'm still going to be angry today. So don't get it twisted, but I needed to sit on my thoughts. This weekend, I had my very first event on Saturday, a Virago Event. It was wonderful. It was so wonderful. It was intimate. It was exactly what I wanted and I was hoping for, that people would leave feeling empowered. These are the words that others used as they were leaving. First of all, no one wanted to leave. But it's like, because they were, when you have that adrenaline going and it's like, you don't know what to do with that energy. It's like they wanted to stay and talk about what we experienced that day. I had a spiritual reader, and we had someone who talked about Enneagram. We had a beautiful spread that one of Jenna's friends put together, a beautiful spread of charcuterie. It wasn't just a tiny little board. It was gorgeous. It had cheeses and meats and veggies and hummus and crackers. It was gorgeous. And we just took so much from it. The readings, listen, I'm a skeptical little gal, and I'm very wary of people. And I know all of us have gifts, and some people like to portray themselves as having a gift, and they really don't, and they like to scam people. So a little bit skeptical. Some people that came were already skeptical coming into it. It wasn't a mandatory thing to do a reading, but every single person that was there did a reading. And every single person that walked out came out with their mouth wide open in awe of what was being said and the things that were being said about each person. That the person, Julie King is her name, She gave all the readings. She doesn't know any of these people. She didn't know who was all going to be there. There's no amount of research that she could have done to be able to pinpoint each person's stories or things that they needed to know. And I wasn't able to have a reading with her on Saturday, but I did have one with her on Monday before she left back to her home. She doesn't live in Georgia. She lives in North Carolina. And she talked about some personal things, which, I don't want to bore you with all that. But the thing that got me was when she started talking about me and my spirituality. She was just telling me, asking me where my journey is. And even though I don't go to church, which when you're younger, you feel like church is the space where it's like, I'm a Christian if I go to church all the time. I don't believe in that. I believe that I can grow as a person through connection with people and through my own connection with my quiet time, with my meditation, with my readings, with Bibles, devotions, podcasts that I listen to. Being quiet, praying is my go-to. And I'll tell you what, waking up at 3 a.m. with all these thoughts running, like when I say it was like a lot, it was a lot. It was a flood. It was a whole flood. And that wasn't me. It was all God. He's like, you need to talk about this. One thing that she said to me that made me tear up is that she's like, you have a gift that you just haven't tapped into. You have a gift of bringing people together, which, if you know me, that's like, oh, yeah, we know that. But she used the word miracles. She's like, you have a gift of performing miracles or working miracles. And we recorded it. My friend Jenna was recording it on her phone, so I don't have the recording, but I'm trying to remember exactly. But miracles is what the word that she said. And you haven't tapped into that. You need to tap into it. And I started tearing up because I'm like, I've always felt that there's something so much bigger inside of me. And I just couldn't pinpoint it. Or, life circumstances have made me feel ashamed of like the things that I'm aware of, the things that I see. And we'll get into that in a minute, of things as a child that I would see and feel. So she said that, and then she was quiet, and I'm tearing up because I'm like, yeah, that's confirmation of things that I already feel, but it's just like, it's buried way deep down there. She's like, you're afraid. Your fear is that you will open this door and you'll be crucified because you're following, you're trying to follow in the way that Christ did. I mean, she was not comparing me to Christ. I'm not comparing myself to Christ at all. But anybody that follows the Lord knows that darkness exists, light exists, and darkness does not like the light. And I just started tearing up. And this is the thing that she has said. I was like, how do you do these things, do these readings and not get so connected? She's learned to disconnect. And she said even sometimes she doesn't even remember the reading. She knows what she says in that moment, and then she'll probably see you next week and not even remember what kind of reading she had with you. But I made her tear up. She actually started tearing up, and she's like, I'm giving back your energy. I'm giving back your energy. She's like, you're afraid of that darkness. And I said, you know what? I know when I started Virago, yes, it has started as a podcast, but my vision was so much bigger than just talking on this platform. I see a big stage. I see lots of women. I see empowerment. I see healing. I see lots of growth. And I saw that even before I even started talking on this microphone. And that's scary because with that, opening that door, envision me opening the door and you're coming into Virago. There's a big sign that says Virago, and you have all these smiling faces coming in, all these women pumped and ready to go. But with that comes darkness. And darkness will come into that door. And darkness doesn't always come with a scary face or a scary feeling for most. Me, I can sense energy. It comes with charisma and a smile And hey, but deep down there's darkness. And I know when I open these doors, that darkness would come. And Julie said, do not be afraid of that. This is your gift. This is what God wants for you. And you have to do this. And who gives a shit about the darkness? And I needed to hear that so badly. I needed to hear, who gives a shit? Because, hey, it's going to come. It's going to come. My whole journey for these past 43 years has prepared me for this moment of opening the door and being strong and being able to withstand whatever is about to come. Because these women that came on Saturday, they're like, Lyanette, we need this. We want to spread the word. Oh my gosh, this was amazing. And we did it on a small scale. You know, Jenna and I have big plans. We're both dreamers. We both have our strengths. You know, she's my sidekick. Yes, this is my vision. Virago is a company now. It's an LLC. That's how much I believe in it. And we have these big dreams and we had to hone it in. And I'm like, man, if we did this on a small scale, imagine everything that we want to do, how much bigger this can be, how much more people that we can touch. And Virago is about empowering us, man. A lot of us have our stories. We have our shit that we've gone through. And so many of us are so scared to let that come out because we were told to keep our mouth shut. We were told, you know, for me specifically, I was told, not just me, all of us in my family. There's 5 kids. The first 11 years of my life, I lived with my mom and my brother. We have the same mom and dad. And she laid the foundation. And when I talk about certain things, I'll be very specific. If it's my mom or when I say parents, that's always going to be Dad and Karen, my stepmom. So this is not pertaining to my mother. My mom is love. She's light. There's been things that her and I have talked about, but she's just beautiful, beautiful soul, beautiful spirit. She laid a wonderful foundation those first 11 years. And then there was a turning point around 11, 12 where I went to live with my other set of parents, my dad and my stepmom. And I learned a lot of things of what not to do when I was in that household. Now, the 5 of us have different experiences. We don't all see our experience the same. So anytime I speak from my point of view, my perspective, my things that I've seen. I have one of my brothers who doesn't remember a lot from childhood. And I remember everything. And in the past, I would envy him a little bit, thinking, man, that'd be nice not to remember things. That way I don't have to like ruminate and have to heal from certain things. But I do, you know, so I guess we all have our journey. So in that household, we were told, don't talk about things outside the home. Keep everything in-house. I don't know why that was said. I don't know what people were trying to hide, but that's what we did. We kept everything in-house. And me, Lyanette Talley, Lyanette Chalice at the time, I have a big mouth. And I'd see things or know things. I may not have seen everything, but I got the gist of things very early on as a very young child. I was always rocking the boat because I would say things eventually, and then I would get in trouble because that's rude. You know, it's rude to say things. It's rude to call people out. You're a child. I was a boat rocker and I would get in trouble for it. So my stepmom has been in my life since, I believe, kindergarten. And going back to me sensing things and knowing people's spirits and intentions, I knew that there was no connection there. I knew she didn't like me, and I knew that I didn't like her. And there's always been this push and pull all my life when it comes to her. And when we went to go live with them, extremely hard. There was no real foundation that was laid down for that big move to another country, speaking a different language with a new family. And like I said, we were told not to talk about anything outside the home, and just being super aware of feelings and people. I knew never to express anything to my mom about how I was feeling. I didn't want to be there. How my stepmom didn't like me and I didn't like her. And I knew it would make her feel sad. And I also knew that there was nothing that she can do. That this was it, This was going to be my new life, and I just had to accept it. And she'll never admit to this, but she did admit it to me privately because, there was times where we're sitting around and she felt compelled to open up about certain things to me. And she did admit that she did not like me, which that was not a shock. That it took her a long time, which I appreciate her, admitting that, to learn to grow and love me. My brother is a lot easier to love. I'm a little prickly. I'm a prickly little thing. I don't make it easy for people. Especially for those that I don't feel have my best interest, or that I don't feel that I'm warming up to. So yes, I can come across as very prickly. And she did tell me a story of, there was a specific house in Switzerland that we lived in when I was about 14. I don't know if I had said something. I don't know. I don't know the scenario behind it, but she said that she just prayed, like, God, please make me love them. Make me like them. I don't know if she said them or me. I'm pretty sure she adored my brother because he's very easy to adore and love. And she said there was a switch that came on where it's like, okay, I love her. And for me, love is different than like. You can love someone and definitely not like them. I never felt liked. And my dad, man, he was really wanting to give us everything that he didn't. He wanted to work so he could provide for all 5 of us. And I think it was easier for him to just tell me to quit it and stop it and don't say that, or she's your mom, or blah, 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 and all these things. It's easier for that. Now that I'm married and now that I'm an adult, it's probably easier to shut the kid up than shut the wife up. And so things would come out in anger, always in anger for me. And she matched that anger. She stooped down to my level a lot of the times. She would hate me telling the story right now, but like I said, I'm tired of keeping my mouth shut. And I'm at a point where I don't need to give big examples or what we argued about and this and that. There was a dislike, and it was mutual, period. So as the tough exterior that I had and have, I still have emotions, I still have feelings, and there's a lot of things that I carried because I didn't want to disappoint. Believe it or not, I didn't want to disappoint, especially my dad and my mom. And one big reason she's not in my life is because it hasn't changed. My dad passed. And you think someone's death would change you. It changed me. I know that for sure. But I still saw things within her that just, didn't really sit with how I view life and how I perceive life and how I feel like things should be. And I didn't see any change. It was still the same shenanigans. And finally I was like, you know what? I don't have to do this anymore. I made it work. Or I tried to, at least. In my best way. I know I would spew a lot of things. It wasn't always one-sided, I did express myself in very mean ways, using very mean words. I'm like, man, I'm a grown-ass woman. And I don't have to do this anymore. I did it because I needed to make it work for my dad. And I feel like even those efforts were never really acknowledged or seen. And that's okay. I don't need accolades. But finally I was like, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to put up with this anymore. Our personalities clash. We don't see the world the same. I've always felt this about you. This is nothing new. And making sure things are in house, don't tell the world, was a good way to control the narrative. It's okay for you to talk shit about me, but not okay for me to talk shit about you, because that way there's that one story and it's your story. And as a kid, of course, you have to oblige. I didn't like getting in trouble. But as an adult, I had a lot of blow-ups. I'm not under your roof anymore, and I can say what I want to say. Because I know you're saying what you want to say. But I don't have to spin the narrative. I speak truth. I speak facts. I own my shit. I know that. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of keeping my mouth shut. And it's not saying we're throwing people under buses. It's about growth and vulnerability. And how can we grow if we can't share our stories because we're afraid of what that person that had a negative impact on our lives is going to think and feel when they didn't give a shit about how it made you feel? When people say, Lyanette, why is it so hard for you? There's always been this wall. There's this wall. And it's finally, man, I don't know if all the emotions has made me feel sick, because during that reading, I was fine. I woke up great. During the reading, after the reading, I just felt depleted in a good way. But like something was just sucked out of me. The walls came down. And I'm tired of like sitting back and just being quiet. And I'm tired of women around me that have stories that don't want to come on and tell them because they're afraid of what that person that they're about to talk about is going to think or going to say. Every story that we have on our journey involves someone, whether it was positive interactions or negative interactions. And there's certain people, that have done us wrong. And here we are, scared to even talk about it because we don't want to hurt their feelings when they've been hurting our feelings for far too long. And there are some people that have grown and then they see that they've done something wrong and they apologize. And they're not afraid to put it all out on the table. Even if they make them feel uncomfortable, like, yes, I did this to you and I'm so sorry. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the people that still haven't grown and still doing the same shit that they've always done. And then we're the ones that have to sit quiet because we're afraid of how it's going to offend you. When you've been offending us and being a negative part in our lives, and that's not right. And a lot of the women that don't want to come on also, they feel like they need to be an expert about what they're talking about. You don't have to be an expert. You are an expert in your story. You lived it. You don't have to be an expert in abuse or narcissism or gaslighting or religion or homosexuality or why the church doesn't like this. Or you do not have to be an expert in that. You can come on and tell your story because you are an expert in that, because you are speaking from your perspective and from what you saw and what you went through and what you witnessed. So that's why I carry shame of talking. The little bit that I even have said on a few podcasts has already ruffled feathers in my family. And it's to a point where they're not going to come at me hard. If this was 10 years ago, I would have been lit up personally. But that doesn't happen today because I've set boundaries and I don't allow that shit anymore. But I know that I ruffled some feathers and I haven't even said not remotely enough to even have you feel a certain kind of way about what I've said, which makes me think that you're afraid that I'm going to say more and you feel guilty about things that you've done and have said. And the shit that I have to figure out because of things that were done and were said. I've always felt like I can read people. From a small child, I was quiet. I observed. I see that in a few of my kids, especially my son. We sit and we observe. And there were certain boyfriends that my mom had. She didn't have a lot that she had us meet, but the ones that I did meet, didn't like them. Didn't like them at all. They came with their phony smiles and their, oh, we like your kids. But I knew there was something in there. There was some darkness or something that wasn't right. And come to find out, I was right. I was right. Luckily, my mom was never super upset. I'm sure it saddened her that I didn't like these men, but she never made me feel like I couldn't express myself. She wasn't going to stop dating them because of me, and I didn't always express everything that I was feeling about them. But I think she knew. And come to find out, I was right. Her husband, I adore him. She's been married to him for over 20 years. And when I say darkness comes with charisma and a smile, don't be fooled. Because her husband, I love him because he comes as he is. He has no patience. He'll cuss, and you'll see it when he's impatient. But man, he has a good heart. What you see is what you get. And that's the kind of people that I love. This is who I am. I'm not trying to pretend to be anything that I'm not. And the pretenders, those are the ones that are harmful. When I say I'm afraid of the darkness coming in, I'm a big girl. I can handle myself. So it's not really necessarily how it's going to affect me personally. But when darkness comes, it doesn't just attack that one individual. It'll attack the people that are around you, your loved ones, your marriage, your children, your friendships, your businesses. It likes to attack those because it wants you to shut up and sit down. We had an office manager, and I've never talked about her on the podcast. Certain friend groups, the people that I'm closest to know this story. She was, my husband had a practice before the one that he has now, Innovative Smiles at the Forum. Good plug for his dental office. Peachtree Corners, Georgia, if you're looking for a dentist. But before that, he had another practice, and she became a manager there. When he closed that practice, he moved her over to the practice that we have now, and she became office manager. And at the time, I didn't have all the beautiful friendships that I have now, but, my two best friends, one moved away, and then eventually the other one moved away. And it was awesome because, her and her, husband were married, they had kids, and we formed a friendship outside of the office. And it was good. I mean, I was in my, mid-20s, And it was a strong, solid friendship for about 10 years. And then she starts growing. And before I get into the story, we always knew that they did not believe in the Lord. And they always knew that we did. And that was fine until it wasn't. As she grew in her, do we say atheism? I think that's a word. And I grew in my Christianity. There's a clash that started to happen. Because what happened was I needed to be fed emotionally and spiritually. And we spent a lot of time with them, but it came to a point where I was like, I like hanging out with them, but I need more. I need more friendships. So then we started plugging into church. And man, when I say I prayed, I said, Lord, I need some friends to come. And I just wanted a few, maybe like 2, 3 that we can get together. We can, I need them to be loud like me. I need them to want to have fun. I need them not to be afraid to drink or maybe throw a cuss word out there here or there. But I need them to love the Lord, and I need them to be on that same spiritual path as me. Because when you have that in common, all this other stuff, you can have different personalities and different perspectives, but that's what brings me close to people. And so we started going to church and plugging in and really getting involved. And the floodgates of friendship just started pouring in. And I've been very thankful. I'm still friends with, a lot of these people from, 10, 12 years ago, probably more than that. But she started making comments, and we would have gatherings and she would make comments about me, and that's fine. I'm a big girl. Like I said, I'm tough. It didn't bother me. But people started to see it. Hey, that didn't offend you, Lyanette? Was she? And it was always in a joking manner, of course. There's always some truth to some jokes. I was cool with it. What set it off was they just started to attack my marriage. That's what started pissing me off. Say whatever you want to me under your breath, joke about whatever, joke about what I'm wearing, joke about my purse, joke about my friendships with quote unquote your Christian friends. I don't give a shit about that. But when darkness starts attacking marriages, that doesn't fly with me. Towards the end of the friendship, before it deteriorated, every time, I'm not even exaggerating. And Philip and I, listen, we bicker, we argue, but these were blown out fights over nothing. Every time they would leave or we would leave their presence, him and I would argue about some random shit. Argue. And finally I was like, I see a pattern. We're not connected. We're so far removed. She grew in her atheism. I grew in my Christianity. And our worlds are clashing. We're clashing. And that's fine. But the thing is, you and I, feeling that darkness, the darkness would linger in my home. It would linger in my home, and we would argue like big fights over shit, over nothing, over nonsense. And what I also witnessed was she adored my husband. And it wasn't, listen, I don't think it was in a sexual way. I don't think it was like they were going to jump each other's bones, but there was something emotional there that she was connecting to him that didn't sit right with me. And God loved my husband, but sometimes he's oblivious to that kind of stuff. And finally, one day I snapped. I said, enough is enough. You can keep her as an office manager because I know you guys are very dependent on each other. But as far as friendships go, I'm done. I'm out. Peace. This is not going to work for me anymore. This happened like on a Friday. Had a big blowout with him. Come Monday, she put in her resignation and she wanted to quit. I was like, funny. Funny how I shed some light on some things. And I said a lot of stuff. And I know he went back and told her every little thing that I said. Funny. Why would you quit if it's not the truth? Because I shed light on it. I shed light on the darkness that you were bringing into my life. And the darkness does not like light. If I was being accused of the things that I was saying, if someone was saying that to me, I would be like, listen, we got to sit down. We got to go to dinner because this is not right. You got me wrong. That never happened. Why? Because darkness does not like light. Because I was speaking truth. And then after she left, she still wanted connections with my husband. She still wanted to be friends with him. Why? She saw a light in him, and she told me that before. There's a light in him. And what's the difference, though? Because him and I believe the same thing. You're attacking me for my Christianity, but him and I believe exactly the same thing. That wasn't the issue. It was darkness using her, even though I do think there's darkness in her, but I feel like darkness uses people, whether there was darkness to begin with in them or not. She was used to bring havoc and create havoc into my marriage, even way after she was out of the picture, to the point where I was still bringing it up years later. This is what I mean by opening the door and letting darkness in if I go through with this whole Virago Events thing, which I am. I'm just laying the groundwork. I just want to let you know how powerful this weekend was, how powerful and how much I needed that last bit to be unlocked for me to just feel free. I can't even describe how I feel right now, besides feeling sick. I feel like I'm finally going to live in God's purpose. Finally. And I've always known what my purpose was, but I was scared. I was scared. That darkness is out of our lives now, so that's fine. It's been great. Wish all of them good luck, and it was good times, but then it wasn't. There's been people on my podcast that have come on that have been, one person in particular has been threatened to keep her mouth shut, that if she continues to speak, she will be sued for defamation. What is defamation? It's when you speak something false about someone and it ruins their reputation. But how do you prove it's false? If someone's speaking their truth and speaking about their story and you happen to be a part of that, I mean, there's some facts in there, don't you think? And also, I thank you for thinking that I have all these people listening to me that are going to, listen to these stories and it's going to ruin your reputation. And also, I thank you for listening because you're boosting my downloads. Because in order for you to know what we're talking about, you have to listen, right? And also, she hasn't said a whole lot, but you're nervous. You're nervous that there's other things that she can say. I know for a fact that darkness lives in you. And if you're listening, I'm talking to you. Darkness lives in you, and you're afraid, like a little roach, because when you turn on the lights, you want to just scatter. You want to live in that darkness. You want that control. You want to control her and shut her down because you're afraid of what the light is going to reveal. And this is what's wrong with our world. We have people like that want to shut the light out, that want to keep us down, that they don't want us to tell our stories because you haven't changed and you don't even think anything's wrong with you. And I don't see you changing. So we got to control. I'm going to sue you for defamation. You better shut up. I'm going to sue you. She hasn't said anything. What are you scared of? Because there's more out there that she can say that could truly damage your reputation. Again, I don't really have that many listeners, but thank you for thinking that. It's not even about that. You don't even care if one person knows about your lies and your darkness. You're scared. Do you know you're scared? Darkness is winning in our world. It's everywhere. It's in our churches. I haven't been to church since 2019. And, I've been to my friend's church, Adrian. She became a pastor. I do like her church. It feels, I get good juju vibes from that church. So I've been there the past few months. I've gone a few times. But overall, when I say church, it's the whole umbrella of Christianity and those people that call themselves Christian. Oh man, you guys love to hide behind your fake smiles and your big homes and your lavish lifestyles. And there's nothing wrong with that because I live in a beautiful home. I take beautiful trips. But with me, what you see is what you get. And if all of this went away, I'm still going to be me and I'm still going to be happy with myself. But one reason I don't go to church anymore, because I hate and loathe hypocrisy. And when all these race talks and gun talks came out, man, these so-called Christians are the loudest when it comes to that. How can you follow God and follow Jesus and be so blinded by this world and live of the world? Like sometimes I wonder, are they doing this on purpose? I mean, is the darkness got to you where you just don't really see the truth? Like, I don't know. The leaders, quote unquote, these so-called leaders that we have, they're happy to have these stupid ass laws that infringe on other groups that don't have to do with you or your people or your little bubble. But man, you guys love to scream at the freaking tallest mountain about your fucking gun laws. Nobody's saying take them away from you, these guns. But what is so wrong about having stricter rules and regulations for getting one? What is so wrong with that? Because you live in a bubble. You only care about what's going on in your little world. That makes you extremely selfish. That makes you extremely self-centered. And I'm talking, listen, I don't give a shit about these politicians. I don't follow politics. I don't watch the news. I don't need to be an expert in any of this shit. But I know what I know. And right is right and wrong is wrong. So I'm talking to you little people, you citizens of this world that believe in this shit that these leaders are trying to spew. The fact that you attach yourself to some of these people and believe what they believe and are okay with guns just being willy-nilly just being thrown all over our country, you think that's okay? Something's wrong with you. Something's real wrong with you. And I'm sure some of you might be my friends or your husbands. I don't give a shit. I'm tired of sitting back and shutting up. You guys are living in your own little bubble and you don't give a shit about anybody else but your little world. When is enough going to be enough, guys? When? Like these leaders, I don't even want to call them leaders. They're not leaders. That is like such a big, beautiful word to give to some of these assholes. All of them are assholes. Yes, I vote, but I don't attach myself to any of these. I don't expect any of them to save me. But what I care about is what's happening around me. When is enough going to be enough? There's people out there that probably, this is above their pay grade. I feel like let's focus on the minute things in life and create laws for that. Because I don't have the mental capacity or the skills to put big things into motion. Big laws are going to really affect our country to clean up what's happening in our world and in this country specifically. Because you don't have the competence for that. You love the power. You love the control. And there's people out there that I'm sure would be amazing at making change. But who wants to get involved in politics? Because you will be sucked into that darkness real quick. So what do we do? I'm glad I'm talking today because yesterday I was pissed. So much so that I was crying over another shooting, over our sweet babies being shot in schools. And then I thought, you know what? It's not just schools. It's in the streets. It's in churches. It's in grocery stores. It's at concerts. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. We cannot escape it. And all because of our Second Amendment rights. Whew, that's very important stuff, isn't it? So important. For you shallow, selfish people and don't give a shit about anybody but yourselves. Our world is so dark right now. So dark. With Virago, I want us to really use our voices. I really want you all to come on here and really speak some truth. Because women are powerful, and we're especially powerful together. And it's only women that are wanting to be an empowerment to others, who want to lift each other up. Don't come over here if you're one of those women that just likes to tear someone down. There's no room for you here unless you're ready to grow, unless you're ready to heal and make positive change. After this weekend, my mission is clear. Virago is here to bring women together, to lift our voices, to empower each other so that we can make change around us. Because really, it starts from within. It all starts from within. And if we can change how we see ourselves, how we view ourselves, tap into what God has given us, because we all have a purpose and we all have gifts. But man, are we scared sometimes to tap into it? We all know what they are. But maybe we were told that we weren't good enough, worthy enough, capable enough, qualified enough. I have felt all those things. And not saying that someone said that to me, these specific words were said to me. But one or two words could have been said, and then you start feeling it. You don't feel qualified. I haven't felt qualified to get on here and truly, I have a big ass mouth, but I hold back. I do. Whether you believe it or not, I hold back. Because I don't want to rock that boat. But we all have a gift, and we all have a purpose. And I want us to come together and start believing that we have it and start finding out what it is. You know, it's natural for me to be fearful, but I'm going to open that door. I am. I'm going to push whatever feelings that I have aside and follow God's will. And I know there's a map laid out for me that I've ignored for way too long. And I think also, this is the right time. This is the right time for me. I'm stronger than I've ever been. Physically and emotionally. And I know that, some of us are afraid to rock the boat, but man, do I want Virago to rock all the boats. Actually, I want the boats to be tipped over. That's what I want. I want to shake it up. I want to raise our voices. And I'm tired of the darkness trying to shut us up. We're married to them. We're daughters to them, maybe sisters to them, sibling. Like there's someone in our lives that just keeps you down. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm so thankful for this weekend. And I'm so excited for what's to come. And when other events we're going to have and what other stories are going to come out of it. But just know, Lyanette Talley's not scary anymore. I want to share a few things with me. There's a devotional that I read last week about failure. Because I know sometimes that's what we're afraid of, to start a venture because we're afraid of failure. Failure's good. That's what I'm learning. Failure's good. And it says, replace the word failure with redirection. Rather than saying, I'm a failure, replace the thought with, I am being redirected onto a different path that God sees more fit for me. So don't be afraid of failure. It's just a redirection by God. And that's a good thing. That's actually exciting news when you start viewing failure that way. And I've seen it personally in my husband's business. Anytime we've thought there was something that failed, something so much greater and better came from it. So let's go out in these streets, use our voices, come together. If you have a story you want to share on Virago, don't be afraid. You're an expert of your own story. Those that hurt us, hey, they shouldn't have. If they've apologized, that's wonderful. That's great. But for those that are still continuing to feel the wrath of these people, you haven't set up boundaries and you're still afraid, that shows what an amazing person you are. That you care about their feelings. I know this might have sounded like rambling to some of you, but the gist of what I wanted to say is that light will always win. Darkness will always seep into our lives, but we have to find the strength to fight it off. And we can't be afraid to shed light on the darkness that's around us. I'm going to leave you all with this. When you are gifted and anointed, Satan will personally assign someone to bring you down just so your gift and anointing won't manifest. But the enemy cannot kill what God has anointed to live. He cannot stop who God has chosen to prosper. And he cannot block what is called to manifest.
Thank you so much for listening to Virago 24/7. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and please give us 5-star ratings. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Virago 24_7 and on Facebook at Virago 24/7 and just connect with us and share your story. We'd love to hear from you.